What's up, everybody? How are you? Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I am. It just got busy at the last minute, but that's okay. With that being said, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. And we are coming to you live every Wednesday. Chuck Richards is, we're going to say he's on assignment. How about that tonight? We'll use that one. We'll say he's on. So how you doing, Kev?
I'm doing well. It's a nice day. It's finally some nice weather. I'm doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not like so much craziness going on that we can't talk about. Crime is still crime. We know that Eric Adams had a meeting with the president and some people to talk about gun violence and crime. He also, I think, met with the governor. I guess what do you think? That's a good start, right?
Yeah, everybody's got to talk.
Right.
Also, I'm a big fan of everybody talking.
Yeah. Also, with that being said, we crime is all over. It's just doing what it is. It's terrible. And we have some articles we want to discuss tonight. We're not going to force anything unless there's some other stuff we want to talk about. But I want to talk about some articles. It was just in regards to pensions for city employees. And I know that was something Chuck really wanted to talk about. It's unfortunate that he's not with us right now, but you and I will discuss it. And if you pull it up, we'll bring it up for everybody to see the article and what we're discussing.
What you sent me was the petition.
Okay, well, we'll read the petition. You want to?
Yeah. Give me a.
Yeah. Everybody, you know the rules and regulations. If you like it, share it. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to it. If you're watching it from Facebook, please share it. We appreciate the love and support. We know everybody's out there enjoying themselves and trying to get some kind of normal life back, but let's not lose sight of the prize that there's still another Delta variant out there that is, the doctor had told you, that is just as worse as it's 70% worse than COVID-19. So please just not lose sight of that and do precautions. If you haven't taken the vaccine, cover up for the people that are around you. If you have taken the vaccine, you still may have to cover up and take precautions and stuff like that. So Kev, you sent me something in an email about
yeah, that's for later.
Okay, we could talk about that too. All right.
And we also have the video of the cop with the potato chip bag.
Yes. Definitely. Hey, Suzanne, coming in from YouTube. Yeah. Matter of fact, let's show that first, Kev.
I got that one already.
Yeah, good. Well, everybody, please, we want to highlight, a lot of times we discuss about cases and situations that deal with law enforcement, and they have done some things that we all don't agree with or have been in question. But tonight we wanted to put a little applause and clap about this officer and show you that he handled his business, and we were all proud of him. Especially, I'm sure Kevin and I, him coming from our old command, the mighty 2-8. The officer did some stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do, and I don't know if Kevin would have been able to do. He must have some medical background, and he just jumped into the action and did his thing, and we're going to show it. You ready, Kev?
I'm ready.
So this is about applauding and patting this officer on his back.
All right.
About an NYPD officer who came up with a unique way to use a bag of potato chips and tape to save a man's life. And now the officer is talking about his quick thinking. CBS 2's Andrea Klein-Thomas has the story.
On July 7th, Officer Ronald Kennedy arrived at Lenox Avenue near 125th Street, responding to a call about a man who was stabbed.
Go give me a bag of potato chips right now.
Yes, Officer Kennedy immediately asked for potato chips. Ricardo Gonzalez said he ran into the bodega.
It was crazy because imagine you got somebody bleeding in your hands, the cops come, and the first thing they tell you, go get me a bag of chips. I'm like, really?
Officer Kennedy calmly sprung into action, dumping out the chips before placing the bag on the victim's wound and securing it with tape to create a seal so his lungs would not collapse.
We just needed something squared off and that we could tape easily, and we needed something where air couldn't pass through that type of material.
The victim was mumbling but incoherent.
Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me.
The ambulance arrived shortly after, but doctors say the officer's quick thinking likely saved the victim's life.
It's the first time that I did something like that, but it worked out well and I'm happy about it.
Police say the victim is out of the hospital. Thankfully, Officer Kennedy relied on his instincts and says he's still processing being called a hero. You may still be wondering, how did Officer Kennedy know exactly what to do? Well, he was an EMT before joining the police department 4 years ago. In Harlem, Andrea Klein-Thomas, CBS 2 News.
If you're a homeowner in New York.
Awesome. So kudos to this officer for doing his thing and jumping into action. The job is not easy. Like I said, he had prior EMT's talent, and just want to give a big shout out to him and any officer that does things like that. We appreciate you. We applaud you. And a lot of times we want to acknowledge you. And shout out to everybody that's chiming in. I see you, Al, Phil, Lotus, and Stefania, everybody. So if there's anything you ever want to talk about, if you ever want to be on the show, just everybody, we always extend the invitation to Olive Branch for anybody that wants to converse with us about any topics that is an issue to them. Or if you have something right now that you want us to discuss, just type it in and we'll pick it up. What's up?
I want to go on a little bit with this one. Right, one of the things that this is being taught, this technique, right? I've been in some class in the last year or two and seen this technique taught, right? It's that immediate get a seal over that wound so that air doesn't suck out through the hole into the lung. And I think this comes down to a lot of stuff that the military has learned, right? There's been a lot of, on the job training the last, we've been in Afghanistan and Iraq 20 years. We've had a lot of people who have learned a lot of, street first aid, of on the spot, how to save your buddy. And this is kind of one of those techniques that's come out of that. I've seen, I don't know if you remember, it's been a bunch of years, probably 10 or more. There was a cop in the Bronx who was shot. He took his finger and put it in the bullet hole and then chased the guy and caught him. Right. And it was something he learned in Afghanistan, right? He learned as a soldier, how do you stop the bleed? I met the cop, right? Like, I mean, it's a true story. He put his finger in the bullet hole, chased the guy, caught him, got him, and went and had his surgery done afterwards. But, there are a lot of these kinds of techniques that are being taught to law enforcement that are learned out of all these years of first aid in the field of military. Well,
that's some real military stuff, because I'm sure that, God forbid, if I would have ever got shot in the line of duty, I don't know if I'd have been if I'd have put my finger in the bullet hole, I sure wouldn't have been caring about chasing that perp. But bravo to that officer for doing his thing, because, like I said, certain training, it supersedes a lot of other things. And, like I said, he eventually caught the person too. He caught him, Kev?
We caught him.
Yeah. Okay. I guess if you shoot me and put a cap in my ass, I'm catch you too. You know what I'm saying?
The adrenaline, it kicks in first, and then after it's done, you're kind of like, oh.
Right. when you met that officer, did he talk about it, or did you have?
Yeah, we sat and talked. We had a nice conversation about it.
Okay.
Real humble, good guy. Just
got you. All right. Let's bring up that article, or I know I sent you two things at the last minute. Because like I said, we can sit here and we can talk about crime. But
yeah, I mean, I do want to talk about that at some point and have a little discussion on some gun law changes we can make in New York, as opposed to waiting for the feds.
Okay.
We can go that now, or we can go into the articles. You tell me.
Whichever one you want to. Let's get the articles out the way first, because I think the law changes may be a little longer.
All right. Well, let's do the cop one, the marijuana one. Chuck may still come on, and he wants to talk about the petition. We'll leave that to last.
All right.
Nick, you want me to share this marijuana one? I just read through it.
Yeah, you can share so our audience can read it too, and I'll try to read it. Or one of us will read it out loud for them.
It's not the most complimentary article of the cop.
No, not at all. You're probably going to have to read it unless you're going to enhance it. Yeah, a little more.
So this was a car stop in Philly. Yeah, no, Delaware. Sorry. And the cop said he smelled marijuana in the car, and he did a search of the car. But they never took the marijuana and had it vouchered or tested. So it was overturned because of that. They're going with it was because where's it going to here? I'll give you a couple of things. That Detective Wiggins claimed during examination he found a bunch of marijuana. When pressed, he clarified his statement and meant a bunch of leaves. However, there was not enough for testing, so he never sent it to a lab to be tested. He was asked about how many leaves does it take, how much does it take to be tested. His answer was he didn't know. He talked about that he was doing proactive work in car stops. He was part of a plainclothes task force. He's later unable to testify to, how many leaves it takes, and then he said probably a small amount or personal amount. And then he conceded that the amount recovered was probably less than a personal amount, which I don't know really what that means.
Well, I think they have certain things what they consider a personal amount of use. I think the same thing with drugs. When we charge people with drugs, what was consumed.
But what's less than a personal amount?
Well, I think. That's a good question, because I think when you're buying something, like let's be, I'm not trying to be funny, but let's talk about this. When you're buying food, you buy a lot. I mean, like say toilet paper. You don't, unless you don't have any money, you're not buying just one roll of toilet paper. You may buy like a 6-pack or a 12-pack or stuff like that. So, I mean, it can be the same thing with weed, that if people buy in an ounce or a certain amount, I don't know. I've never bought weed like that.
That?
Yeah, well, like I said, like that. I've never bought weed. So, yeah. I'm weed has never been, when people was like, oh, when you retire, you're going to enjoy it. I've never been a weed smoker. So I don't know. I know with the little nickel bags and tray bags. So I don't even know if they ever sell tray bags anymore, nickel bags. And I know people have bought, a certain amount of denominations. But I know people buy a certain amount so they don't have to keep coming back out. So what is deemed in marijuana personal use in lieu of buying a bunch in lieu of cocaine? Like, you won't say I'm buying a brick and that's personal use. You know what I'm saying? But you can say I'm buying 5 grams and that could be personal use. and cocaine. That's a whole different mentality. You don't, person buying a kilo, you can't tell me that's personal use. But a couple of grams can be used as a personal use. With marijuana, I don't know the scales of ounces and things of that magnitude. So what is personal use? Only a weed smoker, a person that indulges in marijuana can enlighten me on that. If you're out here, I mean, if you want to be transparent, then you can tell us. I don't really care. I mean, also too, for those out there, how do you feel about the weed being legalized? I don't have a problem with it per se. I have a problem with you smoking it in the street. If you can't smoke cigarettes in the street, I don't think you should be able to smoke weed in the street. That's just my personal feelings. I don't want to walk down the street and inhale that. Medicinal reasons or not, it really doesn't make a difference to me. I don't care. People will tell you alcohol is for their health. You know what I'm saying? To calm their nerves. So it doesn't mean that you're supposed to be able to just have a drink on the corner too. And even though we can all be guilty of that, the things of that magnitude. So, but now when we're talking about the legal aspect of pulling somebody over and then I'm smelling weed, right now that I think that's just such a slippery slope. In lieu of, are you searching the search? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you really going with this weed aspect? Before, that was a easy thing to search somebody's vehicle for more. Weed was considered a drug, a narcotic, which it still is, but it was an arrestable offense. Now it's not. Now, on a car stop, what's your thoughts on this, Kevin? Like on a car stop,
Look, we were always taught if you smelled weed in a car, you can search the car for the weed, right? Like that. It's that simple. If you're searching for weed and you find weed and the person's arrestable, fine, and that's what you do. But there better be weed, right? You can't just say, I smell weed, and search a guy's car and figure it out later, right? Like that doesn't float. I would say in today's world, if I pulled you over and smelled weed, I would be doing more of and I don't know what the version of a drunk driving test is for a driving while high test, but I would do a version of that to see if you're high and driving, because that's still a crime. We don't want people high on the road. So I think that would be the change of today, right? Like I wouldn't be searching your car if I smelled weed for the weed. I'd be more of interested in you as a driver. Are you high or not?
Right. Now, but what's so funny? Here's the elephant in the room. If you're smoking weed and you're driving, you can be impaired.
Yeah.
So I mean, people out there, I've seen people driving just puffing away like they on a beach or in the park. If it impairs your vision, and you get in an accident, what's your story?
Yeah.
So I mean, people, please be careful and don't feel so free spirited about what's happening right now. And just happening and just able to just smoke and enjoying the world and things of that magnitude. Shout out to everybody that's chiming in. What's your thoughts on this? Some people
reading through this, it sounds like the court found that the cop really didn't smell marijuana. That's in the end what the court believed, that he was using it as an excuse to search. And so the court tossed it. It wasn't that you weren't allowed if I smelled marijuana and I pulled a marijuana cigarette out of your car, the search of it would have been fine. But he said he smelled marijuana and then there's no marijuana recovered. It kind of makes the search a little tough. And he was inconsistent with what he said he found. or thought was there. I mean, so I get this being overturned. Funny, I can't find the one thing in here what the guy in the end was charged with, because it wasn't the marijuana what was overturned.
Must have been something else. Yeah,
it was a gun in the car or something. But I'm reading through as we're talking, and it's not the best way to kind of read an article.
Got you.
But that's it. The techdirt.com. I mean, they put this as a very harsh article on the cop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, people will. I mean, officers have to understand they are very vulnerable to backlash and verbal attacks from the city and those that really don't like officers. So you put yourself out there, and I'm sure in the officer's mind, he's probably thinking he's doing good cop work. Whether he is or he isn't is a whole nother story. In this situation, just because you smell something gives you, always something.
Yeah, I like to actually hear from any officers today. What are they doing with that, right? With being impaired and smoking, has the police department given them a new training on that? How do you test somebody? How do you check? I have no idea.
Yeah, you're right. I remember, like in narcotics, we had, well, I think Kevin, to be honest with you, I think it's just off limits, period. Like, you can't search for marijuana. Even if they have it on their person, if you arrest them, I don't even know if that's a charge.
No, like if I'm arresting you for something else and you got marijuana, it's like your keys.
Right. So
right, it's your personal property.
That's like you could call somebody and tell them to come pick up my marijuana, right?
Yeah. It's not gonna. It would have to be excessive amount. Like you have to have pounds. You still can't have like 10 pounds. Like that part is still out. There's some other small rules with it, but you can't drive it. You can't smoke it while driving. That's not going to change.
Right. Colin said 1 pound. I think Stephanie said you can definitely be impaired while smoking weed and driving, and that's very scary. Absolutely. What's up, Mark? How are you? Colin said I never smoked weed. However, the last summer I walked past a group of smoking on Lenox Avenue, and an hour later, when I got to my destination, everyone could smell the weed on me and thought I was smoking. I hate that shit. Outpouring my Joe Cologne, Malone Cologne. Absolutely, man. I feel you, Colin. I just, like I said, people will smoke. I get it. But I'm just, like I said, I would rather see people, if it's legalized, that you could do it in your apartment, not on your street. I mean, just have some kind of, etiquette, common sense, and decency. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't want, like, you banned smoking. The city has banned smoking almost everywhere. Like, and you legalize weed. Like, I'm not saying arresting, but just to walk past a bunch of people smoking weed and blowing trees and looking at you like, why you don't like they're not wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, I get it. You got it. How about that? But now picture this. Like, they always will talk about don't judge a person. But what happens if you go for a job interview and you smelling like weed? You think I'm hiring you? No. You know what I'm saying? If you come in smelling like weed, like you had to take a hit, you had to smoke, as what they used to say, tote. I'm dating myself before you come to work. Not that people don't do it, but now, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, here we go. So anyway, in every way, it is what it is. Who am I? I'm just I'm just a host. You know what I'm saying? With an opinion. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. And we're just discussing, we just talked about an officer really doing his thing, going beyond Call of Duty, having a skill set that I don't know if I wish I had. I mean, I got 100 in CPR, but I don't know if I was going to be, people getting stab wounds and puncturing and stuff like that. What else we got, Kev?
I said I wanted to talk about crime because
let's talk about it.
Crime is, it's like none of us have seen 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't seem like it's slowing down at all.
No, it's picking up steam, and then I'm getting reports of men trying to just grab women in the street, in the park, and I'm like, yo, everybody, please, I implore you and I beg you to be very careful out there. Like larceny is at its high right now, and I carry a firearm, and I'm still like on my six all the time. I was that way anyway, but just the whole energy. I saw like a person had a fender bender. I don't know whose fault it was. The dude gets out and he starts hooking off on the older guy. Was he trying to take advantage of him? Whose fault it was, I don't know. But you're swinging over a fender bender, then you jump in your car and you drive off. So you're a gangster when it comes to fender bending. You have an accident, you're kicking ass. Yeah. Hey Vivian, what's going on? It's picking up steam. Yes, it is. It is definitely out of control. I don't. Go ahead.
It's an interesting article, and it was a couple of statements in this article. I'm going to share it with you that I wanted to show that kind of says what's going on at the moment.
Sure, please. Let's share it. Ready?
Where is it?
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. And on this Wednesday, we're just talking about crime and so many other things. So Kevin has an article that he wants to share. If there's anything that you all ever wanted to discuss, please inbox one of your hosts. And some of you already do that, and you share stuff with me, so I appreciate it. And keep doing that. Oh, look at this. One man holding a gun. Wow. All right.
So there's an article about using the fanny packs to carry guns, and they've had a whole bunch of incidents. But the kid makes a statement after his arrest, and I want to find that quote because it's. I'd rather get caught with it than caught without it. Meaning, he'd rather get the chance of being arrested because nothing's going to happen to him than be on the street without a gun and get him and not be prepared.
Well, to be transparent with you, it's already. I knew it from a law enforcement standpoint that was the way people were carrying guns. Now everybody was fanny packed, or like the what's the thing that go around the waist? Was that the fanny packs? Those are the things. Like a lot of times they always say, people, if you're seeing them young kids carrying that, they got their gun in there, something of that magnitude. So go ahead. What is this we are looking at? What did he say?
It's they're more afraid of getting shot than getting arrested, right? That's the era we're in today, right? That they'd rather take the chance and have the gun, get arrested, because whatever, they're going to get right out. They're not that afraid of it. Then be on the street and get into a fight and not have the gun and be prepared. And these are kids saying this. So we talk a lot.
Go ahead. Colin asked a question. He said, "Why did the guy who attempted to kidnap the 5-year-old kid ended up in the hospital where he was arrested?" I don't know, unless I have no reason. I mean, unless somebody beat his ass, which they should have. I don't know why he was in the hospital and that's where they found him at. That's a good question. I can look deep into that. Stefania said, "Wow, a gun in a fanny pack." Yeah, I had heard this maybe a year ago, and I apologize to you all for not kind of giving you some insight. I don't want you to look at everybody that wears a fanny pack that they have a gun, but right now this is what the youth are doing because they can carry it. So this is something that I had intel on for a while. The beautiful thing is I try to keep my ear to the street and still speak to a lot of uniform officers or people that high ranking that can give me intel without me divulging who they are, but still, and then certain things I can share with you all. As we know, the youth are the ones that are committing the crimes. They're just being straight treacherous, and they really are. And it's sad that this is what's happening. We discussed this last week about the children. What can we do, and how can we do this to help stop this? But I mean, what is your take on it? For those that really was about lackluster laws. Go ahead, Kevin.
But we talk a lot about we scream we want the feds to do something, and that's correct. But the state hasn't done its job either. And Bill, you know this from your days on the street. And get any cop out there. Were you ever part of teams that did gun buys?
Yeah.
And normally when we do gun buys, we did gun buys. Right. One of the things we always wanted to do with our gun buys was buy drugs from the person too.
Absolutely.
Because the drugs got them jail time, the guns didn't. Yeah. Our New York state laws are backwards. So selling crack, if I stick or coke, an ounce of coke would have gotten that guy a lot of jail time. But if I bought 5 guns from him, it would have got him less. And this is one of those mistakes we have on the books here. A sale of a gun on the streets of New York City should be a major charge.
It's not.
It should be higher than a drug charge. Instead, it's less. Yeah. So like I said, we complain about the federal government, but our own charges are wrong. Another charge I'd love to see happen is giving a kid a gun. So, this little guy on TV, on the screen now, right? I don't know. How old is this one? Well, when we have one of these kids and we see lots of them, 15, 16-year-olds caught with a gun, caught shooting somebody, I want the person who gave him the gun charged. Not sold, just gave him. Doesn't have to be a sale. So if you're a part of a gang and they're giving you a gun, or you're the dopey kid who's going to keep the gun in his house at night and you're the one who gets caught with it, if we could figure out who gave it to you, I want them charged. I want to put people in fear of giving kids guns.
Right.
Like, these are two laws we can change. New York State, we don't need a federal government. We can have giving a kid a gun as a felony, as I think it should be, and we could change the standard for gun sales in New York to actually make people do jail time. NYPD would do far more gun buys, if allowed and pushed to do it.
Well, the one thing I think, if I may interject,
well, of course,
I think guns sold like in the box are misdemeanors. I think,
and that's where I am. If I'm in your apartment too, that makes it right. Like, it's the giving of a gun in an apartment. There's a whole bunch of loopholes.
Yeah, they are. Also, too, I think, certain guns, I think it takes a certain amount of guns equal a felony if they're not damaged. I think like scratching off the serial number or guns like that, they're considered felony guns. But most of the time, like you selling a person a regular gun out the box, or as we used to say back in the day, out the box out of Virginia, it was a misdemeanor. But that's why, like you said, we implemented, we try to get them on drugs too. Because usually most of the time a person has a gun, he's involved in drugs too, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, if they're selling you a gun, then yes, you can get them to sell you coke, crack, heroin, or something else, because they have a connection for it, and they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And that's how we got people to do jail time. But like I said, it's backwards. It is completely wrong here. And we have governor, mayor, other assemblymen all complaining about the federal government and gun laws, and they're not looking in their own backyard.
So let me ask you a question, and I want give me you can give me two perspectives. You can give me Kevin Branzetti, the citizen, or you can give me Kevin, the police officer. New York, there are people that lobbied and signed legislations and stuff to really soften crime. I mean, soften policing and how people did police work. Because when I say policing, that sounds to me kind of derogatory. So I will say doing police work. So now we have the results of those lawmakers changing the legislation. No more stop, question, and frisk. Reform. We have all these things that have changed. Marijuana is legal now. There's so many different things that you can't do right now. So give me your perspective from John Q. Public and Kevin, the police officer, or maybe you might be both. I don't know if you can separate that. That's only you can tell.
You know me, I'm not happy with a lot of the laws in the way where we're asking cops to be cops, right? We're asking them to be cops with two hands tied behind their back, and we're seeing the effect of that. And that's a city that's kind of gotten out of control. I don't think that's even arguable at this point.
Right.
And we need to find some sort of happy medium. Should we be searching 1 million people a year? No. Should we be taking people who, jump a turnstile and put them in prison for 24 hours, 36 hours? No. But, we have to kind of enforce some laws here. We kind of have to start being allowed to search people. And I got to be honest we also have to accept that cops are going to make mistakes once in a while, and sometimes give them the benefit of a doubt. It's a tough responsibility to be, Monday morning quarterbacked for every decision you make and never given the benefit of a doubt. I don't know too many other professions that have that kind of pressure. And then you and I have talked about it 100 times. You talk about it more than I do. And then we don't train the cops properly. So, we have untrained police officers out there with laws that are against them doing their jobs, with politicians that don't seem to back them as much as I'd like. And now we have a city in crisis.
I agree with you. I just want to say that, let me ask you a question on what you just said, though. This job is a kind of a mistake waiting to happen job. Thank God I didn't make any of those mistakes. I'm assuming that you didn't. You can only answer that yourself. And I can say that maybe more 9 out of 10 times mistakes are not made if you're doing it your way. But I'm just asking, is it your mental that if an officer makes a mistake that he shouldn't be punished for it, or is it that he makes a mistake?
It's a sliding scale, Bill. It depends upon the mistake, right? Right, like you make a mistake and somebody dies. That's a different, different than you make a mistake and you gave somebody a summons or they spent the night in jail. Right? There's a level of a mistake. We all make mistakes. We all have things. There's mistakes and there's being a terrible officer, right? So do I think people get punished? Yeah. Look, any business out there, you can get punished for making mistakes. You're punished, retrained, given a second shot in life. That's where it's a tough one to just answer without a scenario. Right.
Well, I know, but I just heard you say the word mistake, so that's why.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when that word mistake I've heard a lot of officers say, "Oh, well, he was trying to do this," and whatever the case may be. But like you said, a mistake with somebody's life is to me is a hell of a mistake. And to sit here and think that you still should keep a job, or I mean, and that, like we're not talking about the mistake, and I guess there are situations that you're in a gunfight and you shoot and the person ducks and you shoot and it hits somebody behind them. My God, you got to live with that, but you weren't intentionally trying to shoot the person that got accidentally shot. The mistake where the officer was in the projects and he shot the black man coming down the steps. I don't remember though. It was in the projects. Had his gun out. That's a mistake. You're not
supposed to pull the trigger. That's the one where the bullet hit the wall and deflected into the guy. It wasn't even aimed at him. It hit a wall. The bullet bounced. Yeah. But there's mistakes where you deserve to be fired, but not imprisoned.
Okay, well, I mean, I think a lot of times, and that comes with okay, you shot a man, you lost your life. He lost his life, but I don't even know how to talk about that because, definitely I fired automatically. Now, prison time, our job indemnifies us. You know what I'm saying? Like we're doing our lawful employment. So did he go to work saying that I'm going to pull my gun out today and shoot somebody? I don't think he did that. But the thing is, the negligence of that, how do you justify? And see, I think that's where a lot of things become a problem. Oh, speaking of that too, Al Sharpton and what's his name, Crump, they're taking the case of a white man. I think that did he get or beat up by law enforcement or somebody that magnitude? But the bottom line is, I don't want to change that topic. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe we'll discuss that too. What criteria should there be for somebody making an accident? Like you kill somebody and the only thing happens to you is you lose your job. So what do we sell? Kevin? You're the PC. I'm gonna put it in your lap. You're the PC. You're the mayor. An officer kills somebody. Okay, what do you tell the family now?
What is it?
Hold on. Let me give you the scenario because I want to see how you're gonna go to somebody's house, some law-abiding citizen, and you're gonna go to their house and tell them, wife, kids, mother, siblings, a person that we want in this community, and you're just going to go to their house and tell them, I'm sorry that this happened, but what we're going to do to the officers, we're going to give him his job back after the investigation, or we're going to just fire him. What are you saying to somebody?
Again, depends on the scenario, Bill.
Well, pick one.
You did give me what happened, how did it occur? When somebody goes in for a simple procedure and they die in the hospital? I
don't want you to change the narrative. Let's stay on that. Yeah. So you give me the scenario. Make it easier on yourself in this dialogue. I'm just giving you the law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, and I get it, the law-abiding citizen. Look, whatever scenario it is, and I accidentally discharge my gun. Right, it's clearly an accidental discharge, and the bullet kills somebody. If I had my gun out for a justified reason, and Bill, I'd love to see go through a video or a real thing. This is a tough one of just, an arbitrary.
Well, okay, like I said,
as the police commissioner, if I felt the officer acted properly and it was a legit mistake, I'd have to go to that family and apologize, but the officer wouldn't lose his job. No. You know, he might not be allowed on the street again, but they, you know, I can't say I would just can't do it.
You can't do what?
If the scenario is that the officer made a legit mistake and his actions were proper, right? Like he had his gun out for the right reason, he was in the middle of doing something, I'd have a hard time firing him.
Okay, so let me give you the scenario that we were just discussing about the officer in the projects, and he pulled his gun out, and as you say all the time, you say the bullet hit the wall and it shot it and it hit him and it killed him. What
It
do you
did.
do? I'm not disputing. I didn't say it didn't. I didn't say it didn't.
No.
So what do you do? You're the PC or you're the mayor, and you're going to this family's house. Because just because they lived in the projects didn't make them not law-abiding.
I don't care if they were unlawful or lawful. You know, they were standing there walking or whatever they were doing. They could have been smoking weed at the top of the thing and whatever. It doesn't matter to me. They were shot. And they shouldn't have been shot. So their history and background doesn't matter to me.
That's a good point. So what do you tell the parents? You just say sorry and then be like, okay, the officer, I'm going to give him a job back.
You have to tell them there'll be an investigation into it, and we'll make that determination. But if the determination later on is he tactically should have had his gun out, where
you didn't want me to give you hypotheticals, so I'm giving you a fact.
Yeah,
I want you to be the PC on that officer that shot.
Well, that officer was convicted, so he had to be fired. He was convicted of a misdemeanor. It was a minor. He was convicted on a small crime, but he was convicted.
So did you agree with that, or you didn't?
No, I didn't agree with that at all.
Okay, why?
I didn't think he should have been convicted. It was clearly a mistake. He didn't even see the guy.
How do you know he didn't see the guy?
He's up another flight.
The guy was coming down the steps, and he was going up the steps.
They were on different landings, different sets of steps.
So well, I don't know what story you heard. What I heard is they stopped him and he was coming down the steps in the projects, and the officer was going up the steps doing a vertical, and their paths crossed, and he had his gun out. He pulled his gun out. I don't know. What did you hear?
Yeah.
That the whole
I'm
world.
Googling it. Gotta try to find it.
Because I'm personally, please, enlighten us, because I don't know what the listening audience feel, but there's no way in hell. I've been asked this question before: Are we above the law? Are we held to a higher standard? Most of the officers, I'm sure, think they are, but they don't want to be held to that standard when they make a mistake, or do they want to be held to that standard when they make the mistake and say, well, I'm an officer, this happens, this can happen, it was an accident. When we talk about casualties, it's only a lot of times the people of color that's getting the casualties. It's not, we're hearing this a lot, like you said, we're not hearing about the white man that's a casualty of being shot by an officer for saying that he resisted or he was just accidentally walking down the street and he had his gun out when he saw the man walking down the street. We don't hear those stories, and I implore you, if you think they're out there, please find them, because I would love to see them and hear and read them.
I've showed you some. I've showed you the stats on it, right? Like,
but we're not talking about stats of people in commissions of crimes. You show me stats of a white man in a commission of a crime and he gets shot. It's totally different in the person
I've given you stats on just unarmed people.
You've never given me stats on unarmed white men in lieu of unarmed black men and brown men.
100% I have. I'll show it to you right now, my friend.
All right, please.
I've given that to you numerous times.
Unarmed white men.
Unarmed.
Well, unarm your ass and let me see it. Because I want to see this right now.
We go through this. I'm worried about you, Bill.
No, don't worry about me. I got it. I'm here with you.
Unarmed, year to year. There we go. Let me share my
Vanetta,
screen.
what's going on? How are you? Let me see. Yeah. And then
All right. So this is Washington Post.
all right.
Who keeps the stats? Right.
I'm going. Let's go. Let's enhance this shit.
So let's do unarmed.
Let's do what we say. Let's do.
I'm going to show you. I want to show you.
Enhance.
Let's do.
Enlarge it. I don't want you to only want to be able to see it. And let's read it. What's it say? What's it say? The database. What's it say?
I might have over enhanced it. Hang on a second.
All right. Yeah.
All right. I get a little carried away.
All right. Well, I'm gonna bring you
You let
back.
me bring up, Bill. You let me bring up stats. I get a little excited.
Yeah, I see that. I see that.
All right. So look, I'm going. Here's two categories I picked: unarmed 2020 by race, 26 white, 18 black, 10 Hispanic.
26 white, 18 black, 10 Hispanic. Okay.
That's 2020 by race.
Mm-hmm.
Want to do 2021?
Absolutely.
Let's do this year. Seven white, 4 black, 2 Hispanic.
Okay.
Pick another year.
No. I mean, but you know what's so funny? You say it with like
I know the stats on it.
no, but you're giving. But I mean, but hold on. You're giving stats like your point is valid. You have 100 white people. I'm just using that number, and you have 10 black people, and you give out the stats, and you say, okay, wait a minute. You say 10 white people got shot and 6 black people got shot. So more white people got shot than black people. So the numbers are not fair. The numbers can never be. They're fudged in the sense that there's more white people. So I mean, I get the stats. Yeah, okay, you're right on the point that these numbers, that more white people. But if there's more white people in this world, and in lieu of black people and brown people, then the numbers will always preference the location.
What I've always gotten out with this, Bill, I get the disproportionate. I'm never going to argue that.
So when you say that, but you don't lead that. You lead with wait a minute.
You have to give me a chance to give it. I always get the disproportionate. The stats are what they are. More white people get shot every year than black by cops every year. But they're disproportionate to the amount of black to white in the country. I agree with that, Bill. What's also disproportionate is the amount of media coverage.
No, don't flip it. Let's stay focused. When we're talking about if they're disproportionate, then the numbers will always differ. They will always favor a white person getting shot more because there's more white people. So these stats, they're not fair. They're factual. I'm not going to dispute that. You show me numbers, I see numbers. I'm not going to ever dispute the numbers. But that's like saying how many times. Like when they talk about lottos and drafts and stuff like that, in the lottery, if in the basketball team, a team that had the losing record, he gets a 80% chance. He has like 10 times more ping pong balls in the bin than the team that didn't. Is that fair? You know what I'm saying? So,
but. Well, I don't like any unarmed shot, right? Like, I'm not advocating. I'm not.
But wait a minute. But I mean, I want you to stay with what we're talking about right now. I get what you're saying. I know you don't like that any unarmed. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're going to show me that, what did you just show? You just showed me 10 and 7, or what was the numbers? 7 and 4. out of all, like now, if we took a census of all the white people that are on the census in 2021 and compared to 2000, and then all the black and brown people, and the numbers are disparagingly different, how can we say like that's fair numbers? It's not fair numbers. It isn't.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying it is. But you asked, your statement, the first statement you made before I went to this was, we don't see white people being shot unarmed and killed by cops. And right, that's your first statement. And so my rebuttal to that was, we're just not seeing them. There are more white people being shot. We're just not seeing them. It's still disproportionate. I will never ever argue it's not disproportionate. Never.
But you know, when you rebuttal that, it's almost saying that's not true. But then you're going to say, well, okay, I get that it's disproportionate, but wait a minute, it's still not true. But I get why it's just almost like saying, I understand that I have white privilege, but don't get mad at me because I got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
no. Your first statement was, we don't see white people getting shot like that. That was your statement. So that's what I was rebutting. Your statement was, I don't see white people getting shot like that. So I wanted to show you there are more white people being shot like we don't see them. And I've made this complaint since day one of being on the show, that the media prefers white cop, black man being shot. It sells more. And it's no different than my opinion of them when it comes to missing and killed women, right? They don't care about brown women. Zero.
Right.
Pretty blonde girl, absolutely care about it. I got no love for the media in both directions, right? There's a bias out there in it. But that was it, Bill. I was only trying to show you because your first statement. I'm not trying to say this is good. None of the stats are good, right? But this is a good place to keep it if you want to see it. What's nice about this one, right? Right below it, it gives you the last one that just happened. 37-year-old white guy killed with a gun.
No, read it right now. Don't read it wrong. It says a 37-year-old white man
armed with a gun.
Okay,
yeah. That was the latest one.
Uh-huh.
Armed with a gun. You know, if you want to read the ones without unarmed, I just have to go back to unarmed, and then I'll start pulling all those, and then you can go look for video.
That unarmed 50-year-old white man was shot with a stun gun and shot on May 23rd.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's see another one.
No body camera. It's the same article. Honolulu. Shot. Both same thing as the first guy. All right.
Right.
But so you can go through these and pull the articles themselves and do your own little research on them. And if you want to find them, 42-year-old unarmed white guy, no body cam. Another white guy. This one's got body cam, so we could probably see a video if we wanted to.
Let's see it. Let's go to the video. Let's see it. We got time for a few. I mean, because the bottom line is, I think now this is when the investigative part of us comes in. Well, okay, why did he get shot? Did he act like he had a gun? I mean, wait, I don't know. I don't want any. But let's see what this says.
It's going to take me a second to go find the video.
All right. Well, you got a couple of minutes.
I got to do a little research.
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. And we are talking about unarmed versus armed individuals, white and black. We get to this point. The situations and the stats are what they are. We can't never dispute that. But I think Kevin has it right here. Maybe he does.
It says video, it says there footage, so we'll see.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you try to do something live on the fly. This could be anything that pops up.
Yeah, well, I mean, the bottom line is everybody knows there was, and everybody, please understand. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
out. He's crashed out. Yeah, I'm up there a lot. I have to go to the dental office.
Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Show your hands. He's telling me to stay back and give him a minute. I got visual.
Oh, hey. We got big dog wildfire, okay? Everybody keep on left.
Mr. Statham, do you have a gun?
Just give me a minute, please.
We'll give you as much time as you need, but man, you gotta talk to us. We don't want to hurt you either, all right? Listen, we do not want to hurt you. We do not want it to end in a crash. We do not want to hurt you, all right? All we want to do is keep you safe, man. All we want to do is keep you safe. Just you got to listen to us. Nobody's trying to hurt you, okay? Do the right thing, man. You know you got family that cares about you. Okay?
You know, Kevin,
Hands up,
no black or brown person would get that kind of longitude and latitude. Listen, he talk about I don't want to hurt nobody. Come on out. Get the F out of here. Yeah, let's see. We'll watch it. We'll watch it.
Hands up.
Do we want DMT to work it or we work the rest?
What's that say? He said, I got a lot more rounds than every one of y'all. Mm-hmm. He's letting them know, Kevin, he has a gun.
Yeah, 10-3. We're talking to him in the woods and trying to talk him down. He's acting like he has a weapon.
Anybody got head, please? Let's get it up there well.
The incident commander can be heard over the radio asking for more, less lethal options to be brought to the scene.
Let's see your hands.
I'm not moving right now.
Let's see your hands. Put your hands up.
I'm not looking at all. Either way, I'm not taking anything here.
Hey, but just put your hands up so we can see.
Do we want DMT to work it or we work the rest?
A lot more around.
Do what? Look. Hey, partner. This is done, okay? Let's not don't make it more than what it is. I know, but don't make it.
They want to know if we want to work it or if they want to work it.
Don't make it more than what it is. Let's deal with what we got to deal with and be done.
We're talking to him in the woods, trying to talk him down. He's acting like he has a weapon.
I mean, look, right now, it's the car. It's done. You come with us. Let's get it over with.
The other side of the woods. You got to check the signs.
I can't hear you, sir. What? No. I doubt that. Seriously. On the serious note. Whitetail.
Somebody talking to him.
But come on, bud. Just come up, stand up, and come over to me. All right, and let's be done with this. There's no sense in all of this. Okay? I mean, there's no sense. I mean, right now, let's just face what we got to face and be done. Okay? You just stand up, come walk over to me. I'll treat you like a gentleman, and ain't nothing gonna be more than that. I mean, I'm serious. I'll walk you out like a man. Do what, sir?
It doesn't have anything to do with you or anything.
No. But let's Just stand up, come walk to me, and let's be done. Let's get out of these wet woods, and let's just handle this from here. Okay? Okay? There's no need to bring any more than what we have. There's no need to bring out any sponge rounds or any of this other stuff. You're a grown man. Accept what we got to accept in reference to that, and let's be done and let's deal with it. I mean, there's no sense in digging yourself more and more of a hole.
So if your hand's empty, you're going to get hit with this 40 mic. You understand?
He's coming.
He's going to y'all.
I ain't got a good shot now. Just hold what you got. Let's go. Hold on, I'm about to have one. But they want to do this first. Sam!
Hey, hold the shot. Hold the shot. Let the shield come up. Let the shield come up first. Give me your hand. Oh, hold there. Hold there. Timothy, hold your hands. Empty hands, Timothy. Empty hands. Hold what you got. Hold what you got.
I got hands, Steve.
Timothy, just bring your hands out, please. We can get you some medical help, but we need to see your hands. Bring them out clear, please. Tim, please join your hands. Pull your hands out. Dog team, move it up.
We are right at it. Nobody else needs to move up. Everybody needs to stay still except for K9. Shield here, shield here. Watch out.
Alright, he's 10, it's M52.
Okay. I don't think so. I got gloves. I don't have a buddy kit.
Hold on, man. What's the scene, guys? I know we. All right. All right. Start the corner. Start the corner. Don't worry about it. No, we're done.
06, they're calling for the corner.
Oh, he's still breathing. Give me that thing, mover. He's still hanging.
Disregard, they're saying all right.
On one side. Yeah, he's all right. Go over the mover, or you want me to get started? I just think it's monitor and verify. That's fine. Just go to the monitor. Start the CPR for now. Just be compressing for now.
I've got some in my trunk, but I don't know if my car will unlock.
I don't know.
All right, man.
Hey, hold what you got. Hold what you got. Let the shield come up. Let the shield come up first. Let me see your hand. Oh, hold there. Hold there. Timothy, show us your hands. Empty hands, Timothy. Empty hands. Hold what we got. Hold what we got.
I got hands, Tim.
Timothy, bring your hands out, please. We can get you some medical help, but we need to see your hands. Bring them out clear, please.
You're muted.
Yes. So, shout out to everybody watching Real Talk Chronicles. I just got, I see my man Eddie Vieira's in from YouTube. He said, "I got one for you in construction. Often, if you make a mistake that costs the boss money, you get fired. Why wouldn't a PO get fired as minimum punishment for making me as a mistake that costs a life?" I'll let you answer that question, Kev.
In most scenarios, it would be. There are some I just can't say. And you can't say that every time somebody on a construction site that makes a mistake, they get fired. You know.
Well, we're talking. I guess we're talking about the severity of the mistake. I'm sure. Or,
yeah.
I mean, Eddie also says in numerous industries, employees get fired for making mistakes. Why shouldn't cops get fired? Good point. A good question.
I'll argue with him. I'll say that the majority of people don't get fired for making mistakes. If everybody got fired every time they made a mistake, there'd be a lot of unemployed people in the world. You know, everybody makes mistakes. Some people make big mistakes at work, right? And that's a different caliber. And then there's other things that get involved. But you can't just say if somebody makes a mistake, they should be fired, and that's the standard. It's not. It's just not the standard that's out there.
Well, I think he's talking in lieu of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eddie, you're talking in lieu of a lost life, a life that was taken by accident, right? So, like, we're going to discuss. Go ahead.
I'd like to know what the standard is, you know, and I have no clue. This is not anything more than people do die in construction sites, right? It does happen. People get fired every time somebody dies. I'd like to know.
Yeah, but so are you think people? I mean, are you? I don't even know how to adjust this. Are you equating somebody slipping and falling and dying maybe because of faulty equipment? If the equipment is faulty, like if you know that you need some kind of protection to hold you to a beam, and say I don't know anything about construction. Is the supervisor supposed to inspect everybody's equipment? Say the supervisor doesn't inspect everybody's equipment, so now he's up there on a beam, and his strap his harness is worn out, and he falls and plummets to his death. Should the supervisor get fired if he's supposed to inspect his equipment? Absolutely. Yeah. Right? I agree with that. He's supposed to get fired. You can't say, "Oh, damn, I should have thought that he would have did better." I mean, that's totally different. Well, now we're talking about, people. Now, this individual that you showed us the title was an unarmed white man, right? Yeah. Now, I'm going to let you break this down, and if you don't break it down, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to read Vanetta's stuff for you. Vanetta said, "Media is an issue because you rarely see white people getting shot and killed, opposed to black being shot and killed. The stats are based on population and those that are reported because, let's be clear, some aren't reported and killed by police officers armed and unarmed, black or white. Why is it we see more white officers shooting and killing blacks as opposed to black officers killing white people? Not trying to make it about race, but unfortunately it is. Are you serious? How nice was that for them what they were doing?" And that's the real elephant in the room. We need to find some stats on black officers shooting white people. We'll see. That would never happen, but we could look for it. But so tell me with that video, because that was a video that we just randomly picked. So you didn't know what you was going to see, and I didn't know what I was going to see. But the discussion and the I'll use the word with love. The argument in the room was white people, unarmed men get shot more than people of color, right? Which you showed stats. Excuse me, that what's the word I'm trying to say? Confirm that. But so we said let's see the video. So now we go to this video that you didn't know and I didn't know.
Sure.
And tell me what you saw from that video.
I think the cops did a pretty good job on that one, right? They were following the guy, I think it was stolen truck. He had some felony warrants. He ran into the woods. He screamed out to them, "I got more bullets than you." From watching the video, and clearly it's going to be clearer in person. It to me looked like he was doing the hand in there, getting the gun, and had the hands out like he had something. He didn't listen to their orders. They fired, shot. I think they're fine.
So, okay, now that's why a video like that doesn't make the news. Would that be fair to say? Because I mean, unless you wanted to say a white man, a man got shot. Now, can it make the news? A man got shot by officers. Absolutely, it can make the news. But the thing is, this is where we're trying to talk about the media. If you want to say the media, when a white man is wrong, we don't hear about it. It's obviously, like you said, you mentioned, you said he had felonies, right? Mm-hmm. And stolen truck.
Yeah.
He goes into the woods. He tells the officers, "I got more rounds than you."
Yep.
So you're letting it be known to me that you have a gun, right? If you tell me I got more rounds than you, you're giving me the impression that we're going to have a shootout, right?
Absolutely.
With that being said, that is no comparison to when we talk about unarmed men, people of color that don't even resist and they get shot.
Well, we only went to one video.
No,
I'm not. The last time we did an arbitrary one, we had that naked white guy running at the cop, and the cop shot him. Right? He was naked. Clearly, was not armed. Nobody complained about that one. The man was butt naked. I mean, butt naked. There was nothing on him.
So then let's deal with another shot. And I always say with an elephant in the room, that I always use that terminology. Is it that I can't answer this question? Is it that white people, when they get shot, when people in their families or friends get shot by officers, they think it's all right? Because people of color don't think it's all right. I'm just telling you that here. So because when we see unarmed men with no weapon but their own skin and their hands, and they get shot, and the officer says, "I was scared." It's totally different than what we just saw. And the only reason why, okay, we can talk about multiple videos, we can go countless times, but you picked a random one, and that's the one we're going with. You want to pick another one? I don't have a problem with that.
I'm Googling while we're talking.
So I say all that to say, though, that man asked for it.
Unquestionably.
So if we find with those stats, I'm just using it. We find the stats. If we find so many white individuals that have kind of incited that kind of situation in lieu of what people of color have been victimized by, are the stats? There's still the stats, but does it make sense? Is it fair? You understand what I'm trying to say? Like,
show me your hands. Show me your fucking hands. Yeah, show me your fucking hands. Show me your fucking hands.
Sorry, I got a video playing in the background here. I'm trying to pause it. It's not.
All right.
My 2G wasn't listening.
Right.
You know how it gets.
And everybody, we put out there a little disclaimer, like if any of these videos are showing violence, please understand, we want to let you know that you have the right to turn away, of course, and if it's too graphic for you. Eddie said in construction, like I said, if you cost the boss a large amount of money, you get fired. Large amount of money compared to a life taken as a mistake. Fired should be automatic. Loss of life here. So when I understand what you're saying about numbers, Kevin, and I get it. That's how you got the nickname Stats. It was all love and affection. But sometimes stats like that. If all the cases were like that, then the media could show that. But he asked for it. You know what I'm saying?
But we're talking about one, and if we're going to spend some time going through, if we went through 20 of them, I'd have a lot more comfort in giving you an answer.
Everybody out there, listen. Let me just tell you something right now in Real Talk Land. Kevin is going to go through those videos offline, and next Wednesday, trust me, if he finds anything that kind of cosigns what he says, he will definitely show it. If he doesn't, he will falsely admit that, I didn't see anything that really agreed with what I said. And that's all right. It is okay.
I will tell you, the majority of them, I'm going through them. No body cam. Mm-hmm. There's a few. So I've gotten, it's like 3 out of 10. I've got body cam. So I'm working my way through it.
Good.
It'll take some time.
Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. And we're just talking what we talk all the time, just keeping it real. I don't know if Chuck is going to be here, so I want to talk about that last article before we get out of here.
Here's the naked.
Huh?
Because I don't remember the guy's name. I have the video of the naked guy.
Well, you can show it. I mean, it doesn't show his private, his personal. I don't think it does, right?
Yeah, we don't need that. So. But
right.
It doesn't. I wasn't looking for naked dude, but
no, yeah.
He's not like our friend. What was our friend's name?
Oh,
Jerry.
Jerry, yeah, Jerry.
You
want to show Jerry again? Jerry's
you know what I need to do? I need to save Jerry's video, and it's just once in a while we just have to play Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, Jerry. Let me tell you something. Jerry was kicking ass, y'all. Everybody.
I think we just got a commercial for a second. You got to give it a moment.
Right.
patient senior was so on.
It's the price of free internet, right?
That's what it is, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, while we having a little commercial break, I want to give a shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks for winning the championship, the basketball championship. Kevin, who won the hockey?
Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay, that's right. I forgot about that. It was Tampa Bay, because that's right. So I did remember that now, because they won it in hockey and they won it in football.
And they won it hockey 2 years in a row in football. Not bad for a.
Wow. Yeah, Tampa doing their thing. Just for all you baseball aficionados out there, the Yankees are tied 2-2 with Philly, so they better get their stuff together. I think Jacob LeGrom is on the DL. They drafted the Mets. Drafted a stud. I heard 6'6" guy out of, I think, Vanderbilt. I think Junior Blake and I were talking about him, and he was saying how him and the Al Leiter, his son, I don't know his son's name, was doing their thing. I'm gonna try to find a sports segment for you guys so we can just talk about it. Olympics. How do you feel about the young lady Richardson due to having weed and marijuana in her system? She's not running in the Olympics. Fair, unfair? Your thoughts? Just things like that. We'll just discuss all the things that we can. Go ahead, Kev. I'm ready.
New Hampshire police shooting that left a man dead. The Attorney General's office there saying the use of deadly force was justified. This happened in Thornton back in October. Police responded to the home of 37-year-old Ethan Freeman after getting a 911
I believe he
call
only
about
had a gun
man who
too.
injured himself. Officer Matthew Yao arrived at the scene and tried to calm him down.
Thornton 3, he is naked and threatening my life.
Ethan!
Oh, he knows he's naked.
I am the police, you know me.
But he said he's threatening the life.
Dude.
It doesn't matter. I'm coming out there to kill you.
Well, why am I going to bring paramedics then?
Investigators say Freeman left his apartment and charged at Officer Yao, saying he was going to kill him. That's when the officer fired. A warning here, this video is tough to watch.
Ethan? Ethan! Ethan, stay in there! Ethan! Stay in there! Ethan! Ethan, stay back! Ethan, stay back! Stay back!
Freeman died from his wounds. The AG's report states Freeman suffered from mental illness. Under New Hampshire law, the use of deadly force was justified because Officer Yao believed deadly force was about to be used against him. The New Hampshire Attorney General investigation and released that.
Stay back! In there! Ethan! Ethan, stay back! Ethan, stay back! Stay back!
I guess Ethan was going to come in and rub his schlong on him or something. I don't know what Ethan was going to do.
I'm just letting that one go. I'm not even going to give
I don't know what Ethan was going to do. He's going to come and just moon him to death. I'm not trying to make light of Ethan being killed, but butt naked.
We were. I'm getting ready to throw the flag. I'm waiting for you to come.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you shoot a butt naked man. I guess I think it's very. Maybe he probably shot him because he didn't want to fight the naked man, and they roll him out. If he lose, that's that. He get mooned and something. Eddie said out of YouTube, he said on the marijuana issue, it won't be sold in New York City, New York State, a dispensary till the end of next year. So still, in fact, kind of illegal if you're bringing it across state line like New Jersey, right? Maybe so. That might, yeah. I don't know New Jersey laws, Eddie. So that's a good question. Maybe we'll try to find that out and have that answer for you by next week. What were we going to say, Kevin? So I mean, you're showing a lot of video. I mean, 2 videos where unarmed people are getting killed, white men getting killed, but they're threatening law enforcement officers.
No, let's be honest with that second one. Is that a good shoot, Bill?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's that.
Absolutely. I didn't say it was a good shoot. I mean, the first one that you showed me. Shout out to House in the building 28. I see
House.
Yeah. I didn't say the first one was. I mean, the first one they shot him with the sponge gun. I mean, the sponge bullets or whatever. I mean, what? That's what we doing now. I mean, it's great that they're doing that, but are they shooting a lot of people of color with these sponge bullets? Is that what they call? Because you're taking a known felon that stole a car, and he's in the woods, and you want to shoot him with sponge bullets. So I get it. I mean, how many people of color are offered that opportunity?
I don't know. That's a stat it'd be very difficult to find. How many people?
Well, live up to
I wouldn't even know
your name.
I wouldn't even know where to look for that. That would actually be more of a massive research project of somebody to figure out how many times non-lethal exists. I don't know.
Well, live up to
I look at that shooting. The cops did a good job. Unfortunately, I look at half of that as maybe it's a little more suicide by cop than anything else at that point.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, so I mean, I guess I don't know if you want to show one more. If you don't have to. We can go, like I said, to that other topic.
Well, where's Chuck? He was very angry earlier. I want to make sure Chuck has his. I saw he jumped on the.
Yo, he's watching. Yeah, whatever he's watching. But I don't think. Well, right now we're 20 minutes in, so I mean, I don't want to wait for him.
Yeah,
I mean, we can always bring that topic back. That one topic that we want to discuss that we will just show everybody out there.
Yeah,
is, we can definitely bring that back next week too. So it's not a problem. We can definitely discuss that, and then we'll give you time to look at more stats and things of that matter.
Vanetta said she was going to look up some stats too, so I'm hoping she sends them over.
Oh yeah, you and Vanetta get into stats. Vanetta get some getting your stats ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got to be very careful.
Exactly. Vanetta, no joke. She started clicking them keyboards, and she got something for you. So yeah, I think right now what we're going to do is we're just going to show the petition out for city employees that what they're going to do for the medically to city workers. So, we can read it together.
I mean, it's there's a lot there, but really in the end, it's a short story of the government. New York City is changing their rules up. Retirees, which is I am never a fan of changing anything on retirees. Right? We can agree, or we can disagree. Look, that should cops have gotten a pension after 20 years? I'll disagree and say no, it should be longer. They should have to work longer. That's fine. But once I sign up for a contract, and then that contract says you're going to pay me after 20 years my pension, and I'm going to have medical coverage, and these things are in there, then you got to give it to me, right? Like that's the contract,
right.
And now if the city is taking back, retirees and telling them we're changing your medical coverage, we know we promised you this, and that's what you signed on for, and what we agreed to, but now we don't want to give it to you anymore. That I have a problem with.
Right. I agree with you. I feel you. I mean, because the bottom line is things start changing, my health plans changing, and things of that. And you're catching off guard, and I'm getting things in the mail talking about I owe this, and I want to say I don't owe shit. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
It is. So this article says give New York City retiree choices and options for their Medicare insurance. And then let me see if I can read this. The move to Medicare Advantage plan for 250,000 New York City retirees will, without any degree or transparency, will create financial hardships for a group that can least afford it. The retirees, it probably won't impact those lucky enough to maintain good health through their golden years. Hold on for a second. Got something in my eye. Excuse me, everybody. In their golden years. Where am I? Golden years. But as people age, this is certainly not the case. I can understand the current need for atrocity in New York City government during these crazy times. However, any cost-cutting measures should be across the board and not by targeting a specific class, which could also be construed as discrimination. It is very easy to understand why though. New York City government has targeted the class of people with little to no voice in these critical matters. And let me stop right there. We don't have voices. When you're a retiree, what voices do you have? Because they're telling us what they're doing. They're not asking us. We can't vote. Who do we talk to? What's your take on that? Like you said, Kev, we signed a contract.
Yep. Like I said, we can disagree with it. And I'm a taxpayer, and I have issues with government spending money, and I think we should do a better job of spending money. And like I said, I think NYPD should not be when we were on 20 years. We should have had to have done 30 years, and I would have done 30. But that was what I signed on for. That's what they offered. I signed the contract. What I want to know is, are these politicians who get lifetime insurance, medical coverage, are they losing theirs?
Nah, exactly. And that's something that you just said. You felt you didn't like the contract that we signed up for 20 years?
Is 20 years short for look, you got on at 2022 and retired at 42? Is that young for retire? Of course it is.
Absolutely.
Could you have worked? Could it work till 50? I'm 50 today. Of course I could still.
Yeah.
100% I could. So I don't think, but that's their offer. I didn't bargain for that. I didn't, sneak in there and get it. They offered it. I signed on, said, I'll take it. Right. And I'll do this job for X amount of years, the best of my ability for that deal. You can't take the deal away. And I said, if they would have taken their insurance away, politicians, I know federal government, you just have to serve one term in Senate. You got insurance for life. Right? They're not losing theirs. If they took theirs away, I'll have a little more respect.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that.
And the fiscal crisis, we're not really in a fiscal crisis. New York City got so much money from the federal government. The New York City budget has gone up this year, spending-wise, money intake. The federal government gave a ton of money to supplement them. So there's no shortage.
So this is going to affect both of us, correct?
Oh yeah, it'll affect all of us.
Well, now this is out of this wonderful mayor that we all have, De Blasio, that he did this nonsense, right? I mean, and this would have to, for this to change back, what would have to be done? We would have to sign petitions and maybe go.
I hope Mr. Adams, who's a retiree, thinks better of this thing, and he, maybe he makes a public statement now saying, "This guy's out the door, and I'll change it."
Absolutely. And then let me just finish reading a little bit more of this. It says, "We are no longer active and don't have the degree of support with our unions as does an active employee. You have chosen the path of least resistance by targeting retirees. And sadly, you have chosen a class of people who can least afford this as our healthcare bills continually rise as we age. What even more disturbing was the lack of transparency during the process. The only thing we keep hearing was how our benefits would be improved. Really? How can anyone get more of anything by spending $600 million less? You can't. And even retirees know this. The concern by retirees is real and justified. I ask city government to reconsider the move and at the minimum give retirees a choice of plans instead of arbitrarily choosing the plan for us. We have a right to know what is in store for us and we should have choices." Oh, wow. We're in for a pickle. Baby, I'm gonna have to join your health plan.
Yeah. De Blasio is De Blasio, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be nice and say he's a humdinger. You know, that's I'm just gonna call him a humdinger.
I refer to him as the great unifier.
Yeah,
both sides hate him.
No, like you said, nobody likes him. Exactly.
Nobody likes him. Everybody hates him. He's the world's unifier.
Yeah, he is. You know, he really is. It just it's really terrible. It's disgusting. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. Chuck Richards is doing what he has to do. He's on location. We have Malika Foster in the background doing what she does. And, you know, we're not going to force anything. Is there anything else? Like I always said, please, if you like it, share it, subscribe to it. If there's any kind of topics that you want to discuss, let us know. Vanetta, get at stats. You can be the female stats. You can get at them. Thank you for all the people chiming in from YouTube. We appreciate you.
Vanetta's cracking me up. That's all.
Is there anything else we got to discuss? You want to discuss before we get out of here? What's that thing? That's something private.
I put the link to this petition out there in the chat for everybody.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Is there anything else you want to talk about? That thing you sent me, is that something we got to talk offline?
Yeah, it's offline.
Okay, good. We'll talk about that another day. My eyes are bothering me. I apologize, everybody, for rubbing my eyes. I don't know. They've been bothering me lately. And I got some new glasses, too. But I think it's like allergies or something like that. Do you have allergies, Kevin? No?
No.
No, you're just a lucky little son of a gun, ain't you?
I got my own issues, Bill. Don't you worry.
Yeah, you still drink milk, you bastard. Milk and cookies at night. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. Thank you. Kev, give us some positive love before we get out of here.
I want to go back into the stuff I said earlier. I think, talking to your legislators and trying to change New York State gun laws is a positive thing we can do. All right, let's push to make it, a real harsh crime to sell guns on our streets, and even a harsher crime to give our kids a gun.
Yes.
We need to make people afraid to give a 15-year-old kid a gun. It shouldn't happen, or force a 15-year-old kid to hide a gun in their home. So let's do something about it.
Absolutely.
Me, every week I'll go into it, basically. Take a break. Have your day, have your Saturday, have your Sunday. No social media day. Take a break from it. Take a break from the news. Get out, get into the wild. Bill knows me, right? Like, I'm gonna go on a hike this weekend. No question.
I know. He'll be up there with the cantaloupes and the deers and the goats up in the mountains.
Yeah.
How did you get into rock climbing?
COVID. I was always, I've always been an outdoor kind of guy and like being outside. And COVID, I live in Rockland, so the hiking trails are here. I just started, and then when COVID came, it took off. I was doing 4 or 5 hikes a week, and then getting up to 6, 7, 8 hour hikes a day.
How far do you go up?
I'll do, like I said, like 6, 7 hour walks through mountains. It's got. If I'm not happy unless I come back beaten. Like that.
Really?
Yeah, I want to climb high. I want to have rough mountains. Not crazy things. I'm not doing hammer into the wall and pulling myself up with ropes. Right? No ropes. This is just hiking. Right?
Just walking. You just walking.
Yeah, just walking. But you want to walk. You want to go to good heights. I like being on the top of a mountain in the view. Right? Like to me, it's nothing more relaxing. You sit down. You have your lunch. Once in a while, I'll bring a book to it.
You take your little sandwich, you and your girlfriend.
You can't hike for 7 hours and not bring food, my friend.
Oh shit! So you got the knapsack and the little.
The whole backpack, water.
You saw the movie Malika, the canister, the container. You got all that too. Oh wow!
First aid kit. Dude. Yes.
Right, man.
Rain jacket, matches. Yeah, you bring things just in case. Yeah.
Oh, little toilet paper too.
A little toilet paper.
All right. Listen. Hey, I guess
if a bear.
Got you. Listen. We got to be one with the woods, B. Listen. You teaching me something. I will be down at the bottom of the hill. Just call me. Text me. I'll be near the trailer. I'll be like this, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. So I mean, that's beautiful. I mean, it's
good for the body. It's good for the mind. And everybody needs, that's my point of it, right? Everybody needs to recharge the brain.
It's relaxing. That's what's
up. You know, I could walk out. I've done it by myself. I do it with others.
Do you go on like a little group, or just you and your lady or the kids or something? I know.
Yeah, I've gone with women, and then I've gone with, you know, kids, but no groups. Dates. I've gone hiking dates. Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, I'm embarrassing. Like, you know, I'm just saying, if he was single,
I might have one this weekend.
Oh shit! Let me find out.
That's another conversation once we're off the air.
Yeah. Everybody, we getting out of here. Thank you. Next Monday is who's up the back? Pastor Kevin Graves and our spiritual talk. And then, of course, you know, the first Monday of the month is Al Taylor. Like I said, the second Monday of the month, we have Dr. Marilyn Corder talking health. Everybody, please chime in with that. That's what's up. You know, we talking. What you laughing at, Kevin?
Vanetta. I'm just, she's cracking me up today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she called you the hiking player. Yo, Vanetta, you're right. He get girls up in the woods and be like, "You like me?" You know what I'm saying? Kiss me. Kiss me next to the rock. You know what I'm saying? Let's take pictures by the tree. You know what I'm saying? That's Kevin. Yeah.
Dropping the flag, dude.
Yo, he a hiking player. You know, people take people out to dinner. He take them to go buy cleats. Come on, girl. Let's go cleat shopping and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Your bologna sandwich in the woods.
Oh shit!
I knew I should have waited till we were done.
Yo, let me tie your knot, sweetheart, and shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, everybody, you gotta get out of here. I can't take it no more. But now you see what you started.
This was the white flag. I'm surrendering.
That's your man, a hiking player, Kevin. Kevin, I'll hike with you, Branzetti, and shit. That's it. Yeah. All right, everybody. Good night. We gotta go. That shit is hilarious. Yeah.